Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. I have another in my little keep or declutter series. I know in my last video where I did a few more products, more of complexion products, I mentioned in that video that I could also do that with eyeshadow palettes. I got a comment or two saying they'd be interested in that, so I wanted to continue that series. And this first palette I have right here is from Milani. This one is their, not exactly, all-inclusive eye, cheek, and face palette. This one was for light to medium, and it looks like this. We have the 3 eyeshadows and then 4 complexion products. I go back and forth with this palette. Sometimes I feel like I want to keep it, and then I also feel like it would just be better in someone else's collection because I don't really reach for it. And I don't know, I know that it has like a highlighter in it and then kind of like a highlighting blush in it too that I probably wouldn't reach for that much. So I'm gonna do a whole video today on this. I'm gonna be using the 3 eyeshadows as well as applying as many of the face steps as I can. I might have to mix the 2 blushes a little bit and just give it one more shot. So if that sounds interesting, let's go ahead and get started. On a Sigma E24, I'm going in with this top shade here in the palette. I don't ever remember this palette being bad or anything, but it's one of these that I feel like I don't need to keep it, but then again, I might wear it today and feel like I should. So let me just apply that. It's applying really nicely. There's probably a few more palettes in my collection that I could do a video like this with and really get some thoughts on them and just kind of use them to see if I really want to keep them or not. But this was the first one that I thought of because I always go back and forth. Every time I have a declutter, this one will go in the declutter pile, but then I'll take it back out, and I never know exactly if I want to keep it or not. So this time I said, why not just use it again and really see if it's something that I would even want to keep. Applying nicely, I will say that. Of course, I don't remember ever really struggling much with Milani eyeshadows. Okay, I just added a little bit more to each side. Then on a Sigma E45, I'm going in with this deepest shade. Let's pat that out here. Work it into that crease. I probably have to pick up a little bit more. I did not pick up much. These are really soft eyeshadows. I feel like they really blend out very easily. And don't worry, any little bit I get out here, I clean that up with a concealer at the end. That's why I love to do my eyes first. Doing the same thing on this side. Just kind of running this outer portion. It's not a bad quality palette by any means, but I just don't know if I really feel any kind of attachment to it. Even though they're performing very well, I don't know. I don't know if it's really something that I'd want to keep. Okay, I have some short press-ons today, so I'm going to go in with this shimmer shade right here. Let's apply that in here. Pretty. It's pretty, but I just don't know if I really want these pinky tones that much. I think they're beautiful. I don't know. I think I'm really more so for like the true neutrals, like more of the brown type of neutrals or cool tone neutrals or something like that. Not so much this anymore. I think that's pretty, but I don't know. I believe I've already actually decluttered a CoverGirl palette that gave me a very similar look to this. Okay, so let me go ahead right quick and apply some mascara. I'm gonna go ahead and do like my foundation, my concealer, all of that will be listed and linked for you below, and then we'll come back and we'll do the face steps. Alright, I went ahead and finished up the lower lash line as well because I just use this shade right here and then a mixture of this and this in my inner corner, and that's all I'm wearing on my lower lash line. So I'm going in with a Flawless Face Brush from e.l.f. I'm going to take the bronzer. Cannot remember how pigmented this is. I remember it having a very yellowy undertone because I remember thinking it was a perfect shade because I definitely have that kind of undertone too, so I always felt like it worked. Let me dip back in a little bit more. But if the only thing I want it for is the bronzer, then that's not really worth keeping the whole palette. If the whole palette is not something I'm going to use, if I'm not going to use every single thing, then I don't really need to keep it. See, that's a pretty tone, but I just don't really see myself... I don't know if I really see myself picking up this palette after this video again. I think it's a pretty palette. I think that if this works for your skin tone, I don't know if they still sell this actually. And I know they used to have a deeper option as well. If one of them works for you and your skin tone, I think the quality is amazing. But for me and my preferences, I just don't know if it's worth holding on to. I think the pinky tones are really pretty, but I'm just much more now into like the brown tones, like more of like just true neutrals. Or like my Natasha Denona, I Need a Nude. I'm always going to reach for a palette like that over this. And I have the Patrick Ta, I think it's volume 2, that's more of the pinky tones. I would definitely reach for that over this. So see, that's very pretty, but it's not enough. Now, if they sold that bronzer in like a single, like in a little just by itself, I would definitely be interested. I'm just going to use that same brush. I know this is a little bit of a bigger brush, but now I don't like a stripe of highlighter anyway. I'm going to go into that highlight shade. I'm only going to dip once because this highlighter shade, well, no. I think it leaves a slight cast, but not too bad. Of course, I know this is for light to medium, so I'm more in the fair skin category, but I can make light tones work. But now, highlighter is just not for me. I don't really care for highlighter. And if I'm going to wear it, I probably would just wear it like with one of my Hourglass palettes. It's pretty though. It's very pretty. I'm trying to use this even fluffier brush so it kind of blends it out a little bit better. And then in between, I'm just wiping this brush off. Okay, now for the blushes. I don't know if I should put the matte blush first or the highlighter one first. I might go in with the highlighter. I know you usually should put them on top as a blush topper, but I like for a matte blush or just a regular kind of blush to be over the top because I just don't really want highlighter to be like front and center. So I'm going to take the more highlighty blush, and I'm going to take that on my Refi Duo brush, which is my favorite brush. Okay, now let's apply that. I didn't pick up too much because I know I'm going over the top. I'm having to wait a minute, there's a tractor. I don't even know if, can y'all hear him? I don't even know if my microphone would be good enough to pick up that or not. Is it doing anything? I don't really think it did anything. Maybe he added a... I don't know. I just don't really see it doing much. I guess a little? Yeah, maybe a little. Yeah, I think I see, yeah, just a touch. Nothing too much, but that's okay. I'm going to go over the top with that matte. So I'm going to take the matte shade. Now let me wipe this brush off. Those little silicone mats come in handy. I know Sigma makes some. I just have these little ones from the Dollar Tree that work really well. That's pretty. See, now I'm more impressed with the blush and the bronzer in this palette than I am the eyeshadow. The eyeshadow worked beautifully, don't get me wrong, but I think that this is like kind of the star for me, but that's because I really love blush. And the bronzer I like because of the undertone. I kind of like that it has more of that yellowy undertone because I feel like it looks very natural on me. I think I only have one other bronzer that has kind of that yellowy undertone, and it's the one from Lottie London. I do like that one. I have a mini in that. That's pretty. I think that this is a very pretty palette, and if you're someone that travels a lot, this would be really beautiful. Like, you'd have everything you need. Well, aside from like your foundation or anything like that, you'd have all your eye steps, your face steps, all included. Just have you a foundation, a mascara if you wear mascara, and a lip. But I don't travel. I'm very much a homebody. I like to be home, so I just don't really travel. See, now the blush and the bronzer to me are better than the eyeshadows. Now the eyeshadows are good. I meant more like what I'm looking for. Oh, and just on my lips, I'm wearing the e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner in Pinky Swear and then Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. I thought that pretty pinky combo would be really nice with the eyes. Okay, so I think that this created a really beautiful look. The blush, the bronzer are probably my favorites when it comes to the palette. The eyeshadows, they perform very well. They're very soft, very easy to blend, but they're not enough to make me really want the palette. So I think after using it again, I think I am going to pass this one up. I think that it would be much better in someone else's collection who would get much more use out of it than I do. Besides, I have a ton of single bronzers already in my collection as well as blush. I definitely have more than my fair share when it comes to blush, but that's my favorite category. So I think that yes, as pretty as these products are, I definitely think it's time for it to move on and be in someone else's collection, so I will be passing that on. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads, and follow me on Instagram at jessicadeerly. All of these products will be listed and linked for you below. They are affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission, and if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!